Buffalo.
What's up, everybody? Oh shit! What's up? What is up? Oh, hold on, man. Let's go full screen. What is up? Wait, one more. Hail, hail indeed. Hail, hail indeed. Hail. Oh, hail, hail. Yeah. We're gonna get booted just because I sang that. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? I'm fucking stoked, dude. I'm super stoked. I'm stoked that I'm here. This is where I want to be right now. I don't know about you, but me right now, this is where I want to be right now. So, decay. Got to turn that shit all the way up. Oh, into the void. What's up? Evan, let's say hello to everybody first of all, man. Thank you all for fucking coming on in. Look at that. 26 souls strong. And we just barely started the race. Super stoked. Look at that. Who's in the house? Check this out. There's this new feature. I don't know if it started yet on the previous episodes, but I clicked this button here. And you'll always be able to see these badass comments, even on the playback. So, pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Let me say hello to everybody. Of course, the man of the hour is here. Hell yeah, Chris is in the house. Oh shit, what'd I do? Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, wait, I did something. Ay. Yep, I done it now. Anyways. Hold on. 1 second. Yes. Yep. Okay. Y'all can hear me well? Everything sounds good? I bumped this thing and shit got weird. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Who else is here? Megan's here. What's up, Megan? She's going to be here again. Disguster in the fucking house. Super stoked. Super stoked for that. Glad you're here. Who else is here? Of course, EMP. First here and first to fall asleep. Oh. T-Bone. What's up? Hey, I've met that guy a few times. I don't know if you all have met each other in the chat room, but I've got to meet him a few times. I even went to his neck of the woods. I went to his side of the Rio Grande. I got to hang out with him. That was pretty rad. See, Frazier, my buddy Frazier's here. What's up, Frazier? See, you can see everybody's cool little comments on the site. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Zach was the first one here. Just so you know, Zach started the game. Zach was the first one to comment anything. So, I'm sorry. I meant, Of course. Of course. All right. So, what do we have going on here? Let's get this. Uh-oh. I lost y'all. Can you see me now? Everything good? Okay. I have to say that okay. Sorry. I'm multitasking here. I'm back. Okay, so this is what's going on, guys. The name of this episode, I'm going to put it here on the bottom. Boom. Kill with the Pen, episode 1. Because you can always die by the sword. But you can kill with a pen. Ow. Yeah, I'm thinking, something's really important to me. Obviously, everybody knows one of my taglines, where's the riff? It's all about the riff, right? You don't have to be the greatest... oh, shit. You don't have to be the greatest instrumentalist, but you do have to try to say something interesting, right? It can be something real simple musically, but, if you write some intense, captivating, relatable jams... they're going to last a long time in people's memory, They're going to, latch on to people. And that's hard to do, man. It's hard to write something that people, gravitate to, organically, right? Organically. And audio cut. Do you hear anything now? You good? You hear now? Yeah? All right. Anyways, so there we go. Okay, so where's the riff? One of the things that can be a tiebreaker for certain songs, for certain music. You hear me? Okay, cool. Is thank you. Sounds fine. All right. I was getting paranoid with that. Thank you. Is anybody can play something with a tool. You grab a guitar, you grab a bass, it's a tool. Everybody has the same tool, right? A hammer has a function, A guitar kind of has the same thing, right? It's a machine. You pluck it, and the strings, and you over here, and you can hold a shape and strum it a certain way at a certain tempo. 10 people can do the same thing, right? 10 people can line up shoulder to shoulder. They can hold that chord shape and strum that chord. And the output is going to be exactly what you expect. It's going to be that chord, that jangle. But intent is what grants power to these kind of soulless sounds. Your intent is the soul behind the sound. Otherwise, it's just noise. There's nothing wrong with noise. I love noise. I really do love noise. It kind of sometimes makes me sane because I'm too analytical with music sometimes, and obviously you can tell. I'll go to sleep to noise. But the intent behind the music is really what fuels the function. Words move a mountain, if you think about it, right? And the audience, the demographic, will probably, of course, be initially filtered by the instruments, the tools, like how loud are they, how distorted, how aggressive and fucked up. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Aaron? Big boss man. That guy rips. You should get to know him. He's cool as fuck. But back to the words, a word can really captivate somebody's attention in a different way than just a cool sound, just a cool chord. When there's some kind of message behind the sound, suddenly the initial filtered people with the distorted guitars that say now they get filtered again, because then they start saying, well, what is the intent behind this song? Some people will agree, some people will not agree, some people won't understand, and then some people really don't give a fuck. Some people don't. Not everybody needs to care about the words. I really don't always do. But when a song can captivate me, in both ways, you know, musically and in somewhat like, and its intent intrigues me. Man, that's going to be on my list of top jammies, top jammers, you know. And so Kill with the Pen is going to be a thing that we're going to do here. I'm going to try to do it once a season or so, every, you know, a winter or so, you know, summer, fall, etc., etc. And spring. And I'm trying to get different people. I've got a few people I've already been jabberdizing with. Oh yeah, Francisco's here in the chat room. He's not in this room, but he's in the chat room. So just make sure if you need to tell me something, say JD. DJ Christcrusher. Get it right. Back to what I was saying. So, you know, and it'll be neat, man, because that to me is the other side of the coin, right? Like, oh, this riff sounds cool. This is heavy, etc., etc. You can, your perspective on things can change, you know, when you have something that intriguing and that like powerful, it might even change your life, you know. You might hear a song and you think it's cool, and then you hear what it's about, and you're just like, wow, a whole new level of mind blown. It's a fantastic feeling. It's happened to me here and then. And so I feel like it's a very powerful part of the music. Can be. There's a lot of music out there that's like we really don't give a shit about the message. It's just about a good time and about riffage. Great. That there's a time for that too. That shit rules too. I like that. Of course, like having that added intent and shit like that really is cool. You know. So let's celebrate that. And through Joaba, right? Through El Manager, aka Francisco, aka. I got to become friends with the gentleman, the man of the hour, right? Chris Gamble, excuse me. I'm a little bit pre-gamed. I need some water. I'll get some right now. And it's so wild that I never thought that if you asked me like in 97, when I first learned of Chris, like around 97, if you had asked me like, hey, dude, did you know like you'll be able to just like call him or he'll call you or hey, what's up, man, and what's going on, or how are things, or talk about music, or like, hey man, check out this riff, no one's heard it yet. You know, what do you think? You know, shit like that. If you told me that, like, oh yeah, that dude that's, oh shit, I should have busted it out. It might be right there. Ooh, it might be right there. Let me see if it's right there. Hold on. Yes. Even better. It was right next to me. Dude, check this out. If you had told me during the year, it's got to be in this folder. It's like the first thing probably. Yep. Check this out, everybody. If you had told me back in the day when this used to hang up on my fucking wall, if you had told me that, hey, you and this dude are going to become homies, man, I would have been like, you're crazy. That's too cool. This dude, I'm never going to meet him. Look at him. He's in the fucking Metal Maniacs magazine. Like 98, 97, something like that. I never believe you. It's like, you know, I mean, next to this, I have the, 95. See, so it was probably around 97 when I got this. 97, 98, the latest. Dude, I mean, this picture was right next to the Immolation dudes who were like, well, Morbid Angel, Deicide, Monsters of T. Get it? See, I'm putting the accent on the la syllable. You know, a fucking Emperor, Dark Throne, dude. All that shit was on my wall. And this dude was one that's like, oh, Absu, fuck yeah, man. Watch out. And now we're kind of homies. Look at that. Even through him, look, another motherfucking badass I met. Through him, now I can fucking say that I can chit chat with Jim Rowe, who's a bunch of us here. I think I speak for all the chat room. Fucking Jim Rowe. You know, he's a part of a lot of our early albums. You know, he's part of mine, and it's like fucking cool. The dude taps me on the shoulder as I'm walking by. Hey, what's up? Are you having a good time? Like, fuck yeah, I'm having a good time. Dr. Jimmy. That's right. Okay, so all that being said, this is going to be a new segment, right? Episode 1, episode 2. I've thrown out a few, a few messages to some people from overseas, some people from different parts of the U.S. And hey, man, people are into everything out there. And everything is interesting if it's interesting to you and you can share that with other people, they can see like, wow, man, this guy's really fired up about this. And this is why, and this is how. No wonder. So this is where his music's coming from. And then you have this like closer connection with the jams. Suddenly it has more value to you. There's a place for it, you know? Some people are into politics. Not my cup of tea. But, dude, sometimes people are really passionate about a certain subject matter that fuels that pen, and they write the fucking heaviest shit, man. Like Larm and Seeing Red, for example, that band, those bands, you know, politically fueled music. But goddamn, you know, like Dead Kennedys, politically fueled music. But dude, what great energy behind that music. And even though maybe I don't really disagree with a lot of what they say, but like even if I did disagree with some of the shit they say, I'm there for the jams. At the end of the day, the songs are cool and the intensity is genuine, and that is cool. And I'd like to know, like, dude, like, whether it might be your fucking jam, not mine. It might be your favorite shit. That's why I'm saying this is not just self-serving. Like, I'm trying to find various walks in life. That's my goal in this show. I want to find all the different brains that are just, and hearts that are fucking pumping, and then it just sends that blood to that hand. The heart fucking slamming the fingertips with blood, with fueled fire blood, and then the brain sending bolts of electricity to the fingertips to just, when they come together in the center and they write the shit that moves mountains. Call back. Mountains, moving mountains. Do you understand? So in a sense, music is magic. There's something magical about music. Could have been the first magic ever. Who knows? All right, so let's start the fucking show. Previously, a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, I got to record a conversation with my new best friend, Chris Gamble. He's my best friend. he's a cool fucking friend, man. And who knows, I might get to see him next year. That'd be super cool to chit chat and hang out and make some noise. That's right, Billy. That's right. I got to record him, and I got to record some friends, and we're all gonna start this conversation, right? We're gonna and I'm gonna play. It's pre-recorded, but like I'm here, we're all here. We're gonna chat. We're gonna bring up some questions, and then after it's over, you know, we can chit chat a little bit, and who knows how it's gonna go. And of course, being a DJ Christcrusher show, you have to endure the ceremonial ending. If you know, you know, and if you don't know yet, you're gonna find out tonight. So. It's fucking Friday. Let's go, man. Let's do this, man. Okay. So before I play the main thing, I did have like some I have like 7 minutes of other people talking. That's them total. We're gonna get a little taster's choice of the outside in, and I'm gonna be sending out messages to people in the chat room. Okay. I kind of threw it out initially when I first did this, and only like the closer friends caught on, and they reached out to me, and like Mike, you're gonna get to see Mike, and you get to see Megan, and but I want this to like kind of get some momentum. Like if I'll throw out to other people, and it's all contingent on who does the next episode. So depending on who does the next episode, it's all going to kind of tie together. It's all cohesive to the guest. So when I get that confirmed, I'll start throwing out messages, and then maybe we can get a couple more. Different people is the point, to have different people every time. And just make our fucking awareness a little bit bigger, a little bit more interesting. More detail, right? High definition interpretations. So let's just play these little teaser clips before we play the main show. So y'all still grab your popcorns and grab your sodas and your beers and roll your J's and do all that fun stuff you're gonna do. Kick back. It's gonna be a fun show, all right? So let's bring to the stage. Let's bring on this little mini video. Let's see. All right.
All right, I got a couple questions for you. As a listener of music, as opposed to a musician, which most people already know, but as a lover of music, as a fan of music, what like subjects and genres do you gravitate towards? Like, what are your preferences and styles of like subjects in music?
I guess the first thing that comes in mind is, which it's changed from back in the day, but it was always pretty much anti-religious, anti-Christian, more of that sense.
That's cool. So like if you have if you find out like, oh, this is new band and you don't know anything about them, but if they tell you, well, it's kind of like around these subjects, you'll be like, well, let me give them a shot. Let me check them out. You know?
Right. Yeah. Occultism,
cool.
Stuff like that. Like I said, it's changed too. Another thing that it originally draws me, and it sounds old school, but like when you pick up a vinyl and you see that artwork, and so it's those couple of things. But lyric wise, it's always occultism, Satanism, anti-religious, stuff like that, anti-Christian, stuff like that is what I was originally drawn to. Like I said, it's varied since back in the day.
What is it about our guest band, Bloodstorm, that captures your attention? And like, what is it about that band that made you like, oh shit, check this out?
Oh, that one's kind of easy and not easy, but originally the lyrics were really astronomical, kind of.
Oh yeah,
that style, and it almost brought me back into those. It's gonna sound weird, but like, you know how Dio was kind of dragons and stuff like that. It kind of brought me back to that. And of course, I was jamming Absu right before I started jamming some of that Bloodstorm, so that kind of took me into. But another just quick thing that just right off the bat was, I kind of see that Bloodstorm was for me a mix between Necrovore and maybe Celtic Frost, and that was like,
I hear it. I can hear that.
That was instant, Not only it wasn't only the the music for sure, but even the way they looked at, that was just a draw, and after that was it.
Brutal. So my first question to you is, what subject matters in music? Doesn't matter, like, I guess doesn't matter the genre, doesn't matter the type of music, but what attitudes or what type of music most interests you?
As far as like topics, I definitely, just me doing what I do, I'm a tarot reader. I've always gravitated towards things that were a little bit, I guess, ethereal, a little more like esoteric, spiritual, maybe dabbling in the cult a little bit. When people, use like metaphors in their lyrics and things like that, and they're conveying a message, but not in a literal way, as opposed to like, a band that's very politically charged, using like, very straightforward, like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck everything type, lyricism.
Like aggressive,
Yeah, aggressive as hell. No, I always gravitated towards something that was a little bit more outside the box. So, conveying a message, but conveying it in a way that makes you think a little bit. And, I've always kind of gravitated towards, things where they're talking about personal experiences as well. because especially if it's something that I have, experienced myself, I definitely relate on some level. But for the most part, and just for the type of music that I listen to a lot of black metal. It seems to be just like a common theme is to use like astrological like references and things like that to kind of like convey.
Yeah, that genre does kind of touch those topics in their lyrics. A lot of black metal. It's kind of easy to hear cosmic lyrics or that music works for that. They write about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, generally, and even like a lot of like doom bands as well. Like I really love like the Devil's Blood, and maybe the language they're using in their lyrics isn't quite as like metaphorical or something like that, but it kind of makes you step back and like think a little bit, and you're just like, oh shit, like this means something to me. So yeah, overall, generally, just me doing what I do, just being very spiritual in general. Always gravitated towards lyrics that kind of reflect that also.
So what is it about today's guest band, which would be Chris, from Bloodstorm? I mean, was it the visuals, the lyrics, the music in general? Like, what is it that kind of grabs you first, that makes you give it the attention?
All the above, honestly. Like, well, just as a non-musician, that's not what I'm hearing first. So like when I'm, even scoping out new bands or even listening to bands that I've been listening to for a long time, it's not like, and everybody appreciates a good riff, right? But for me, it's more
Where's the riff?
Yeah, right? It's more so about like the attitude and I guess the image for me. I'm an artist, and a visual learner. So I'm looking with my eyes first and foremost. Like when I, even as a kid, picking out, and I think this is similar experience for a lot of people, picking out albums, like you just don't know the band. You're looking at the album cover and you're like, well, the cover looks cool, so I'm going to take a chance on this. It looks like something I'd be into, like I still remember to this day, like picking up, Show No Mercy, because I'm like, oh, to go with like a pentagram, like this is cool as fuck, and just like, so you kind of like look with your eyes first and before you even hear the music. But as far as
so you're saying the cover art that Bloodstorm has captivates you.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember like honestly, before I got into Bloodstorm, I was a big fan of Gorephobia, and it was even their artwork too was very just like intense. It like grabbed me in a way that not a lot of other bands did. I felt like some bands kind of like rip off others and things can get a little like repetitive after a while, but with Bloodstorm in particular, because they use a lot of like occult symbolism and things that just I generally practice, it was like okay, yeah, like that's what really grabbed me. And of course the music's great too, and it was the vocals. That's what I heard first. Like,
it does stand out, man. He's got a wide range.
Yeah, like, and it was just like, when I first heard them, it was unlike anything I'd ever heard before, and I was like, whoa, what is this? It was very like unique sound where, especially with metal, like a lot of vocalists can kind of tend to sound very similar. But like I can clock Bloodstorm like 2 miles away because he's got such a distinct sound. But yeah, overall, like it was kind of everything. But initially what drew me to Bloodstorm was just not even just like the artwork and the image, but like his own image as well. All the stage gear and all the crazy stuff that he wears, the chainmail and everything. It was the whole thing. It's like you could tell that he just
You can't write a song without an idea. The idea is the seed, and the seed can then, come to fruition in any shape or form. A death metal song, a black metal song, a fucking country song, don't matter. It's the intent behind it that we're here to explore. So, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for answering a couple questions. Let's get started.
Absolutely.
Cool. So first question is, how old were you when you composed your first poem, or if it was a song? Some people write poems in school, or some people don't write shit. Sometimes people's first song started out as a poem, and then so was it a poem or was it a song? What did you first write where you looked at a paper and you had form? You wrote, it wasn't just a journal entry. You had like some kind of form. You felt like there's some kind of pattern. They call it meter and all that stuff. How old were you when that first happened?
Well, being a kid, one of the first things I did as a kid, I went to art school. I like to draw comic books. I love Marvel, creepy, eerie comics and all that stuff, and a big Marvel fan. So I went to art school. So comic books was like my real first introduction into like wanting to read. But putting something down on paper on my own, it took a long time, because I was more interested in artwork and music than I was actually writing it. I was getting the feeling of everything visually, and what I was hearing in my ears was making the life around me a larger vessel to live in. Putting something on paper after all ideas as a teenager, I would say I was 17. It was 1988, summertime, when I wrote my concept idea for agoraphobia.
Okay.
That's really when I put something on paper that was mine, that was completely a fresh new idea all on my own. I want to make a band that has to deal a lot with supernatural, horror, the occult, the unknown of your life, the mysteries of things, the things that really make people sort of scared or make you aware on a level that installs both fear, paranoia, and survival.
Some people are juniors, seniors in high school. You're a fucking little kid, dude. 17, but 17 is kind of like Alice Cooper. I'm not a kid. I'm not a man. I'm 18. You know what I mean? You're like in this weird liminal transitional phase in our lives, right? So that's really interesting that you were in that phase of your life where you got moved, right? And a lot of the greatest albums we've ever heard, Venom, fucking Voivod, all these great bands, they were around that age too. And so everything, we all can relate to that. Like, holy shit, hormones, girls, jobs, problems, you start to see them. And so, yeah, no wonder that 17 was where were you living during that time in your life? Were you in Philly?
Born and raised in Philadelphia my whole life. I just more recently moved here to Pensacola, Florida. So I was in Kensington, and in from 1986 to 89 was a very turbulent year, because the neighborhood changed, because two drug gangs took over, were taking over playgrounds. It was causing a lot of street wars and stuff like that. Small stuff, nothing like it in the movies, just small street level stuff. If you live in a city and you see stuff going down on the street between these people and these, and you see it every day, you start getting numb to it, but then it starts to spread out into other areas. And like I said, like this moment kicks in where you're getting in this part in your life where you're so much more aware of not just your thoughts and what you like to do. Now you have to deal with the society you live in, and how do you function in that way and get past it before you become a product of that environment, or you use that, you eat that negative poison shit, you eat it, and you put all your fucking spice on, you eat that fucker, and you digest it, you turn it into something that's going to be a positive, spiritual, mature, natural thing for you to do. And to me, that's when I started. I was like, I'm going to pick up the pen because I want to do music. I'm going to start writing. It's time. I'm 17. It's time. I seen older guys that had the money and the ability to write and record music, and it just they spent more time worrying about their peers, worrying about getting a girlfriend, worried about impressing the young girls, worried about impressing their friends. But did they actually do anything? No. They sat and they were egoing each other. They had this, dick shit and pissing contest with each other. Like, who's the coolest guy with the most, equipment and all that? And they never did nothing. So I saw it as a waste of time. I saw what was going on my streets as a waste. I'm like, survival mode. I'm going to be out in the world. I need to do something with this creative art. I love music so much.
Cool.
It was my undisputed best friend since I was a kid, growing with the Who and Kiss. And so bands like Voivod and Celtic Frost were probably the top wanted me to do something conceptually. And in my environment, I was like, Voivod had the environment going in Montreal, where they're at in Quebec, the little town they're in. So they had that going. The Who had it on a street level. They were talking about, being suppressed, low-class, society with, poor-paying jobs and poor living conditions in England. So it's like, I was putting those together, and then, somebody crossed with ancient civilization, the mysteries of it.
Yeah.
We're talking about
that started sparking your imagination, right? Yeah. And you were applying that. Yeah.
You're right. And then the brutal rawness of Venom, Motorhead, Bathory, Sax, and that stuff was like, that has the power and energy. The old AC/DC Bon Scott years, I'm like, that's the world that's coming together for me.
Now, for you to elaborate further, what moves your pen across the paper? Again, we're going to start to grow and get real specific, but like, what gets you going? Like, let me grab my pen. What pushes you to want to write something about?
The passionate for spiritual survival.
Interesting.
Just instinctually passionate for spiritual survival. Trying to understand and dive headfirst into the unknown certainty of what may or may not await for me in my soul, the mortality of my soul. Where is it going to land? Where is it going to lie? How am I going to grow? What's going to attach to me? What will carry over into the next life? Or will I be condemned again to live in a survival mode where in a world where it's has fear, hate, and guilt going on around it? And how am I going to navigate once again? So it's like a primordial passion of survival instinct of my soul, which makes me have to put these down into word. And the occult sciences give me the best platform for explanation of what is not already understood in everyday society. I start seeing people for a lot more what they are underneath that skin, and how their action is, and their kinetic energy, and how they influence others. So you're utilizing those categories of like spirituality, mortality to analyze the essence. The essence of humanity, so to speak. You're finding the essence of behavior through these occult sciences, as you call it. It's observational survival. It's emotional content.
Okay. All right. So let's dig a little bit into this topic, right? So here's a side question, right?
Okay.
It's silly. Pentagrams or upside down crosses or other?
Okay, my first impression of the pentagram and inverted crosses and all, it always came from old horror movies, always came from comic books, some early pop culture things, because the satanic movement got big again in the 60s, along with experimental drugs and psychedelics. Some people in music, some rock bands, it toyed with the idea, as Led Zeppelin and examples like that. There's those touches. And hallucinogenic drugs played a part in a lot of those things. It was a big magical revival, and I believe, if memory serves me right, it happened at the turn of the 19th century into the 20s, where you had the Freemasons in society, and then that's where you had Aleister Crowley, Austin Osman Spar.
I was going to say Aleister Crowley was part of a movement. What year would that have been? Let me see.
Kenneth Grant, that was like the 1900s, 1910, and then you had H.P. Lovecraft's father involved in that stuff. You have Madame Blavatsky's premonitions and predictions with a lot of her occult visions and things like that. So there's all these things. We're talking 60, 70 years before the revolution kind of came back in, the satanic revolution and all. So to me, early on, and this is just going by my own thought, early on, seeing The Exorcist, when Reagan had the crucifix, let Jesus fuck you, that whole graphic boom, 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 doing that whole thing, was like, wow, man, there's been nothing that has shaken society more in its religious core around the world than that movie being portrayed in 1973. Kind of really started it.
Which movie again? What movie? What movie again?
The Exorcist.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
So, to me, pentagram, and then the pentagram, to me, it was like, what I'm going to say, The Omen, 666, that whole thing, and Rosemary's Baby, and who am I forgetting? With Ernest Borgnine, what's that movie he did? That satanic movie, Satan's Reign or Devil's Reign, stuff like that. So to me, it seems like pentagrams and inverted crosses in the late 60s and 70s became pop culture and accepted into Hollywood mainstream society. So then it spawned all these ideas, and then it became a very easy tool to use to say it relates to darkness, power, uncertainty, fear, chaotic, raw, negative emotions, where it can express somebody's turmoil or mental illness or just rebellious in its nature against structured religions and actual political society. It was such a big uprise to use, I think. And I think in people, maybe the Satanic Church, I was never a part of it. I was like, to me it was like a variety show. That's how I saw it. You got to remember, in the 70s, where I grew up in Philly, everything was street level. If it happened on the street, that's the reality I lived in. I lived in that reality. Although all that stuff was great, and it reflected a lot of the same core element of turmoil and maybe description in its harsh, negative attributes. But nevertheless, I thought, well, the attributes match, but I don't like the symbolism because the symbolism is too commercial, too Hollywood. To me, it was too organized, like Catholicism was. I'm like, so that's when I look to other. And
so that's the pentagram.
A level.
So now, so I'll elaborate on the upside down cross. How is that different than the pentagram? Or is it even different? Is it even different?
It was defiance. I thought that my first impression is inverted crosses was defiance against organized religion. It was pretty much a middle finger of saying, let Jesus F you, and giving it a middle finger to the Holy Trinity. It's like, I hate religion. You make me fear. All you do is you drive in fear and guilt in my life, and I can't understand what I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be afraid of and guilty for at such a young age, being condemned on things I don't understand yet. Why condemn me? Why? Why is this man that's supposed to bring, he loves you all, he created us in his likeness and image, but he has a special place where you're going to be sent to, where you're going to be burned forever, be tortured to the end of time, live in darkness and hate and fear, but he loves you. Never made no damn sense to me. I'm like, if that's the person that loves you, that can condemn you to burn forever and be tortured and horrified and live in this horrific nightmare forever, and he's supposed to love you, I'm like, no wonder, the inverted cross is kind of like, you know what? Here's the inverted cross to me was a middle finger to organized religion. I see what you mean. And I'm like, and I understand that as a street level person, I understood that.
That's why I mentioned that, the street level perspective.
But I get that, I do, but I'm like, it's too TV Hollywood for me, because I think it was a little bit before my time, because I was born 71, that was the 60s. My sisters saw little pieces here and there of things like that, and I'm like, that's not real to me. That's not what's going on outside my door when I see Vietnam vet guys eating rats and pigeons up on the railroad tracks. Where's the religious people out helping them? They're out of their minds. They're insane. They're shell-shocked. They're traumatized. Yeah. They're shell-shocked. Those are real people living in fucking garbage in manholes, eating shit off the street. It was more horrific than seeing, satanic movies. I wasn't impressed with that. Right. That was more scary. A guy with a big fucking Rambo knife cutting up a pigeon and eating it over an open flame in a sewer was a lot more horrifying than that. Jack Nicholson was a lot more fucking scary with that axe with his mind snapped in The Shining. I was afraid of guys like that more than I was when inverted cross in the pentagram. I was like, that's too Hollywood. That's not real to me. But the occult, when it comes to something that is, you can't explain it. It don't have a familiar symbolism on it. Well, why is that why is it maybe even shunned by some of the Church of Satan people? Because I've heard some of these people that are pro-Satanists go, they're false, they don't know what they're talking about, and they get condemned for thinking outside of their box. So
it's like Catholicism all over again.
That's what I thought. And at a young age, too, but I was probably 11, 12 years old, I'm like, that don't make sense either. Why is Anton LaVey so right and they're so wrong? It's like, yeah, but they're saying the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking $50 you got in your hand. Just the other side of that coin. I'm not saying anything new. because there was a lot of people, and probably a lot of people will say it better than I will. I can only go by my experience. And me, it was the streets of Philadelphia in the 1970s. The reality of somebody living off the street, eating what they could to survive, was a lot more horrid than an upside-down crucifix and a fucking pentagram. And it was more horrifying than the church. And I thought the church was worse because they are supposed to be the ones that are helping these people. The government ain't going to do shit for you. They love it when people are fucked. But they're supposed to be the ones that Jesus felt they like to hit you over the head with. Be like Jesus. Be like, it's like you tell everybody to be it, but you're not that. But you walk around with a collection plate going, we need more. You always need money. Well, to me, I'm like, it's both sides. I'm like, that's equally worthless coin. If you're condemned by the dark side and the light side, well, to me, well, there's something to be said for that. There's unknown forces and uncertainties and a big universe of operations to say, what is my soul really going to be made of? And I'm going to find that shit out for my fucking self without anybody's. You're either Church of Satan or you're Catholic. No, I'm going to go completely off the grid, and I'm going to figure out what these people that lived in the woods or lived out in the desert that spent days and weeks as hermits trying to figure their own shit out.
Do you take what you say literal, or do you practice what you preach in your songs to an extent, of course, right? Because there's a lot of cats who say, listen, this is my therapy, and some people go, no, this is my declaration. You know what I'm saying? So how does it serve you? Is it like, no, this is what makes me feel better, or no, man, this is my declaration, this is what I take this shit seriously, right? How genuine to the pen is your daily life? Let's just call it like that.
It's all I know. I'm writing about it. It's all I know. It's all I can't write about things that I just don't know for myself. To me, I'm like I say, I look at it as it is my everyday thing because it is the one thing that taught me past the other two institutions that were brought to light at an early age. I saw them as Hollywood. I'm like, no, it's either Hollywood or it's the society means with rules and laws, even though they say there's no law yet, but there is. Because if you shun the people that think outside of your box, you're just as condemning as the other one. So no, I see it as it's spiritual survival. It's survival mode for my spirit. In some way, shape, or form, I got to find out what corners of the universe can my vessel go in to say, listen, I need an answer. Can you help me find this? Because I still need to mature. I'm not the everything guy. I don't know everything, but part of the journey, to learn anything, you have to take the journey. You gotta fall flat and have your face land in some mud, and be able to get up and wipe off and go, you know what? That's what that felt like. Well, I can't do that. I gotta go this way now. You have to mess up to really know. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for passion for my soul to be able to develop, mature at one way or another, whatever time I got on this planet. And I'm going to put it on pen, and I'm going to put it in song, because it is the most undisputed friendship I've ever had in my life, is what my spirit feels when I have my instincts working at its peak. And it's always been through either artwork, or it's in writing, or it's in music, because it's the only thing that's ever given me comfort. And I'm like, I was looking for, in my early years, music was the undisputed best friend I've ever had in my life. And
music over movies? Music over movies, would you say? And books? Because there's movies, books, and It was music first, then movies and art, and being an artist, like comic books. I found a lot of comfort in a lot of comic books as well, because I saw a lot of similarities with certain characters when you're young, because comic books, well, they're geared for kids, but it's relatable human traits that you can see in a city, like with people that live on your block or right there in your neighborhood, that when you're young, it's like reading certain lines. I remember in Daredevil, during Daredevil and Elektra's meeting together was the biggest eye-opener, and second would be Captain America when he took in Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Hawkeye, because they were criminals.
and he believed giving them a chance was much better than being this clean-cut, white-collared guy to come into society and be the hero of America. He believed in the underdog that was on the street that didn't have anybody to help them at all, and said, you know what, their dream is just as important as my dream was. And if I, you know, it would be wrong for me, it would be hypocritical for me to not stand by these kind of people, that maybe if I could show them a little bit, hey man, you know what, I understand where you're coming from. You don't have this choice. You have this choice, and I'll help you get to this level if that's what you really want to be. We could fight all day, but if you want something new, come with me, man, and I'll be your brother with you. And that is why in the comics, Captain America got so much respect from lower scale street level heroes. Looked up to him a lot better and taking his side because he was willing to take the time to understand their level of thinking, because nobody understood him when he was young and being kicked out or not accepted for being ill and not healthy. He watched everybody else get the glory and the girls and this and that. He said, I'm off the beaten track. I understand what that's like. You have to understand when you go through something that's difficult when you're young and you're not ready to understand it, to say, we find something as kids and youth that give us comfort. And I always say it's always been music, it's always been art, or it's something in pop culture that's relatable to the eye and the ear to the child. It was for me. And then when you have it in front of you, now you're sharing it with your friends. It becomes a friendship bound in this vessel. Music was the undisputed best friend. And in that vessel, I learned the differences. And when ego came into play in your teen years and you're growing, that I had to get my dirt kicked in my face, be talked about, slandered, be called all kinds of bullshit. With the guys that are supposed to be in the band, your buddies, they turn their fucking back on you when their needs are not met. They turn on you for not being with them. Now you're the underdog, just like the Satanists and the Catholics on your spiritual level shunned you. Now your brothers in arms that are supposed to be picking up those instruments, creating in that room with you, turn their back on you. You have no choice but your spiritual survival of your creative needs need to be met. You have to separate yourself from that and say, I'm going to fucking fall in love one way or another. If I have to fucking eat shit and mud to get it, I'm going to get it, but I'm going to get it my way, the correct way. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to learn. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to learn as I go along. And it's going to be what it is.
So your perspective that got you your pen moving in the beginning of Bloodstorm, you're saying that it's not the same headspace, 30 years later. Your occult perspective, your occult practices, the occult sciences, as you put it, was very, very, very cool. That hasn't been the same flavor. You're saying because of all these challenges and tribulations that you've been dealing with in this world, they're affecting the way you practice and perceive these things that fuel your pen.
It put me on the path, and I had to plant the trees in my field to get those fruits. And that's what had to happen. I had to get fucked up. I had to be ridiculed. I had to be mocked and made fun of and put so low that I had no confidence at all to say, okay, I'm starting from chaotic scratch in this whole new universe that just goes, bam! Cronus said it best in The Ultimate Revenge Part 1. I'd always stuck with me. He's like, Venom's like a brick. You pick the brick up and you throw it and it hits, it goes, bam! Yeah, that line stuck with me. It's one of the lines that stuck with me. And it's true. It's that primal, just unadulterated, unfiltered, emotional content that said, bam, I'm going to do it, and that's it. And you're going to get what it's going to be, and it's going to be what it is. That will stand the test of time over the well-versed, well-educated book reader. You could be, intelligence doesn't actually negate to your grades and your book smart. It's actual, I think it has to do with your physical performance in life and how you adapt yourself in what's around you to use the tools that you've got to make you learn. That to me, it's more courageous to be condemned for being wrong. I'd rather be wrong for the right reasons, if the right reasons keep me on the path of spiritual development through my creative needs. Bloodstorm did that for me.
Interesting.
And the occult sciences were my toolbox to get it.
Okay, so let me ask you one big ass question here, and it's like the shortest question, but to me, it can be like yes or no, or it can be yes, blah blah blah, no, blah blah blah. So it's up to you. So here's a third question: is music fun, or shall I say, is music a fun thing? Like, and when I say music, I mean like writing, performing, but like getting yourself involved in all of that. Is music a fun vehicle for you?
Absolutely is, or I wouldn't be doing it. And I would be a liar. You're trying to say, oh, it's not music. What's it? It's the only thing that's been my undisputed best friend. Never I was a bad person, need to be saved. I was never judged or condemned on my creative whim. It did just fine for me. Treats me fine. So, music, undisputed friend. It is fun. It's enjoyable. It makes me feel the best, grounded in my physical realm of existence. My everyday life, music is involved. I know people, whether it's Tina Turner to 3 Degrees or it's Necrovore, Venom, and Motorhead, and everything in between. It's all piece of it for me because it gives me a level of spiritual belonging. It gives me a sense of feeling alive. Feeling alive in my day. Awareness of where my mind and my heart sit.
Right.
Because that's the genetic makeup of my soul.
All right, folks. So you that to me is like super important to kind of understand, because the perspective, again, we all have our own perspectives, right? And when someone who is not learned or ignorant, shall I say, they see, the imagery of Bloodstorm. They see that fucking sharp, kind of pseudo Old English kind of font. They see all the iconography, the blood, the fire, the anti-cosmic explosions and all this imagery, and then they read these lyrics. Guys, girls, people out there, don't forget that some of this aggressive, shall I say, extreme expression, it fucking makes people feel happy. And it's not like a sadistic or kind of masochistic thing. It's for many people, I would say like you, this like gritted teeth rage behind that is like this relief and this smile. This it's almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? It pleases you.
It's like it's like Lemmy said in the song "Smiling Like a Killer." Even the serial killer has satisfaction on killing somebody. Right. There's a sense of feeling relieved and the satisfaction of it. There's a happiness that comes over murder. Not condoning it, but
no.
Because it gives them that enjoyment and release.
Right. Powerful. Great, man. So that's our list of questions. But now what we want to do is we want to get specific, right? I want to pick on a song. And the song that I picked is... listen, I have listened to your music. Let me rephrase that. I have heard your music, which is like a less form of listening, right? You can hear something and then you can like attend it. I've heard your music for a long time, dude. Like one of my best friends, one of my brothers, Bicos, he was into your band, and he's the one who like showed me your logo. I think he had patches. He's the one who rest in chaos, Picos. Anyways, and then later on, I eventually, it's always different when you get your own copy of a band, of an album, and then you can really simulate, you can masticate it, you can really like absorb, what's going on, the visuals of the cover art, the lyrics, the intensity of the music, all that stuff, right? So the first album, which is, call me a poser, ale verga, the one that first like said, hey man, yeah, this band you like, look at it, get it in your face, bro. And then I was like, oh, that's why I really like this band. Oh, you know what? Fuck yeah, it was a reaffirmation. Hell yeah, this is why I fucking like this band. And then I go back and revisit everything, and it's with this perspective of like, fuck yes, like this is just my personal thing, but like, dude, if we could share the stage together, dude, that would be the fucking badass this evening, dude. That would be the best. But So I digress. So, anyways, the song that the album was one of your most recent ones. You know, the Cursedness of the Cinder Witch is fucking, dude. It fucking rips, man. And you know, I started getting into acquiring your previous albums, and all those albums are very different. They have different color, they have a different approach, different style, even a little bit. You know, and Cursedness of the Cinder Witch. It's fucking just. It just sunk into me easily. Like it assimilated. I was like, this is fucking me, man. I love this shit. And so the song I picked, I like to pick on the first song, because the first song, you know, when you're putting together an album, you're like, fuck, well, how are we gonna press play, and then what are we gonna first hear? You know, it's gotta like, wah, and then hopefully the listener keeps on, you know, trudging along the album, right? And so the first song is always kind of an interesting song to pick on, you know, and break down. So the song I picked was "The Chaotic Exile," track 1, I believe, on "Cursedness of the Cinder Witch." Is it my favoriteest song on the album? It depends on the day. No, generally, you know, it's not my favoriteest song on the album, but I think it's interesting to pick on it because of that reason, because it's like, well, the artist chose the song to be first, you know. I mean, The Separation is possibly one of my favorite songs, which is like the most easiest song probably it's probably the less deep one, the least deep cerebral song of them all. I love that song, but track 1,
exploited GBH influence coming out, man.
That fucking song rules, man. That song makes you want to like smash some shit, like break things, you know what I mean? It's like, ugh. But Chaotic Exile is just a fucking explosion. It comes out and it tells it's like a declaration, like, here we are, here's this. Instantly you're like, oh fuck, this album's different than the previous album. Right away it captured my attention, and the lyrics are pretty heavy, you know. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna share that with the audience. I'm gonna attempt to play it right now. Let's see if we can just like play it and listen to it, and I'll put the lyrics up on the screen and people can jam out. So actually, you know what? I have it loaded right here. That way I don't have to put it in post for us. Let's listen to it for a little bit. Let's get reconnected here. Let's see if this works. Damn, dude. You know, when I say like a declaration, you know, like this is fucking like the new album, like holy shit. And then I read the lyrics. Like I said, it's like, okay, why do I fucking like this band so much? Topically, you know, superficially, I love it, but let's understand it, right? And so then I started, you know, you read the lyrics, you buy it, you look at it, you hold it, you fucking sit and listen to it without commercials, you know, you fucking buy the CD, fuck the streaming YouTube shit, you listen to it, you know. I'll tell you what, man, one of the lines that really has always stood out for me in this song is the stanza where you say, once you feared humanity, both hunted and weak, become what you seek, obscured in malignant divulgence. That shit is awesome. And the last part's pretty, I mean, the whole song rips, but even the stanza after that, you know, oracle from nowhere to come, expulsion of moral law, devote to neglected perils, misanthropic beast, acceptance of blood atonement, your act of vengeance may not be the gift you seek when the nightmare never ends. Please break this song down. Please break this song down.
Basically, the whole album, I picked the Polynesian folklore, which is the Penganellans, the female vampire.
Okay. Hey, assume we don't know anything. Educate us. Educate us.
The reason why I kind of honed in on that story and picked it, well, my point in life by the time I was making this album, I became a father. Before I started making this record, I was in a different spot in my life, living in Philadelphia, and most things went right back into, I better readjust myself because my life and my spiritual perspective is going to have to be heightened in one way or another. And what I normally do, I'm not going to be able to do the same as I used to anymore. But at the same time, I'm going to have to find my own noble vessel to be able to still navigate exactly through my sigils and my mantras and totems that I use for the primordial operations that I choose to live my life by before I became husband and father. And I thought, well, there's going to be a whole new sense of spiritual loneliness to come in that because I've so long wrapped in it daily. I'm going to have to readjust. Well, I'm going to have to readjust. So it was a bit of a shakeup for me on a spiritual level. I'm like, so the things I normally did every day are going to have to change whether I like it or not. Because now I'm bringing life into the world, which I always wanted to do even as a young man. I was like, I want to do music, but I also want my own family because I'm gravitated to children. I find peace being around young souls. For no other reason, just that there's an innocence behind it.
Yeah.
They're not riddled with the human adult torment of deceit and dishonor. They just don't have it yet. And I find it being more pure, like music is in a sense. And it kind of links to my job as a bus driver. I'm around children. It felt more being connected in my physical world, where I'm not going to be interfered with spiritually and too much of a negative extent, because I already had that, which led to the downfall of agoraphobia in my eyes. So I'm like, right. I had that world locked. But now, what I spiritually need to do, it's going to be in my home. I have to change and adjust things, because for me, there is a danger level when you introduce, and this is my perspective, how I saw things, when you have young life that is in your hands, you are a practitioner in the occult sciences, there are prices. There's a price tag behind things that you do. You just can't pour energy out of the universe into this vessel without being taken from something else.
Right.
Or have its chemical nature adjusted in some way, which to me is cosmic alchemy in a sense. What I choose to do things through a lot of mantra work and right. and sensory things, which a lot of times I know everybody sees me with incense all the time. I constantly have aroma in my house. The reason for it is aroma is the most potent automatic instinct of your spiritual heightened emotional content and scent. Scent brings perspective into your mind and heart. It charges that inner battery of your soul of remembrance. It's fueling it's like fueling a gas tank. To me,
right.
Aroma is the scent, is a spiritual gas tank. It's a scent in your vessel, spiritual vessel.
Right.
The child's kinetic energy of innocence leaves you to be able to perform without it being corrupted to a point. But in a sense, when you leave certain things behind, it becomes this loneliness and emptiness that kind of is weird. This transformation is weird. So I use the Polynesian folklore of the Penguinalan because in that vampire lore, from what I see is, it is the most gruesome, most horrific, deceitful transformation done by a desperate soul of a woman trying to find her way, where she's pretty much been rejected by her peers, society in a normal, and even lost in a spiritual sense. All hopelessness and loneliness kicks in at desperation mode. And in desperation mode, she doesn't follow suit. And if she don't follow suit, the first corrupted soul that comes out of the great Crimson Brotherhood, the Desert of Set, is normally the non-beings will come first. The chaotic shells will come first at you through the negative tree, through the negative plane. They come in first. You got to be smart enough and aware enough to know that that scent or that instinct cannot be allowed to penetrate your cosmic egg. If it does, it poisons everything around you. Then you become a vessel for that negative energy in a sense. So the more that you have negated from it and have it exiled out of your chaos, the purity will stay put, but you have to deal with loneliness and hopelessness to achieve it. So you have to watch that you don't be so desperate that you let it in out of desperation, because your human needs are not met out of loneliness and desperation. So on that, you exile yourself.
Right.
You have to be careful when you separate it, not to fall back into it. Otherwise, it will transform you, whether you want that or not. It becomes a nightmare.
So this is fucking awesome, dude. I'm reading the words as you're explaining that, right? Seal your life away, never see the light of day. Apprehension unrestrained, arrayed with witching enticement. So it's like it's like saying your mentality almost becomes your own prison. You know, it's the first opening lines. Let me back up to the opening. The assertion is determined, futile before the rival, hopelessness ordained, draped in grieving despair. I mean, that sounds like it's like spelling out what you're saying. How this. Yeah, wow, man.
When you have to let go of that, what you know so much of, and you got to let it go, then you feel hopelessness. You feel everything you own is negative against you now because you had to leave it. Right. So you get this overwhelming sense, and you've got to be careful not to transition the chaotic into you. Otherwise, it poisons everything that you created in your realm, and now it's a continuing nightmare. It will transform you into something you don't want to believe because you let the deceit come into you by ignoring it. Letting that chaos overwhelm you. So that's why Penguinalans were interested. The folklore was so. It part exactly how I was emotionally feeling, and I related. I was like, that story's an interesting story. So I based it on a witch, a woman, because that's where the Penguinalan is the female vampire witch in the Polynesian lore, and it is an ugly, nasty, disgusting, vile thing for a woman to turn into. And I'm like, wow, imagine you're in a spiritual sense, physically you feel exactly what that physically does to you. I was completely inspired by the folklore coinciding with the emotional content of that. The feeling of hopelessness, disconnected, the loneliness of it, and the grieving despair you get out of feeling desperate. And how dangerous
that's it.
Could be.
And kind of like dissecting the word chaos from the superficial, just like Webster's definition, chaos is completely, truly inconsistent. That's the only consistency of chaos.
It's unpredictable.
But it almost seems like if you remove everything else and you just keep this side, then you're not chaotic. Technically, you've lost the purity of chaos. Now you're like, I'm just pure despair, pure negativity, and then you lose yourself. You're not keeping that open channel.
Yeah, you become the white noise of the chaos, and now you can't have no direction. Hopelessness, despair. Now you're grieving in the torment that you lost everything that you become, that you know to be. And then, boom, if you let that negative shell in, and you're weak for a moment, your survival is now compromised. You've got to be careful of that. It'll transform into something you don't be.
And I like that line, especially I mentioned it earlier. Your act of vengeance may not be the gift you seek when the nightmare never ends. So are you, and tell me if I'm correct in my interpretation of that. Are you saying that the nightmare is a product of the revenge? Like, your act of vengeance may not be the gift you seek when the nightmare never ends. Is it because the nightmare is never ending because of your act of vengeance and you're like, shit?
Because you gave into hopelessness and loneliness. You gave into it. You've become to the one thing you filled your vessel with that you've known best in life and created out of survival instinct for spiritual development and enlightenment. Your emotional content now compromised everything that you've worked for. So then it becomes this nightmare of everything that you got away from.
That's fucking awesome, man. That can apply towards
life.
See, these humanitarian facts, you know what I mean? This is just the human condition in a sense, you know? It's
put into that perspective because that's the life that I live. I have to write to how I know it. That's why I write. I write it to the way that I know it. And certain things will influence me and make sense to me. It's like, well, I can relate to that kind of a story because really my mind is like that right now. I'm like, okay, I have to use this vessel, describe it in this way because it keeps my spiritual magical instinct going. It keeps my mantras going because mantra is the one thing I always constantly do every day. I have a moment where I have to go and revisit my thoughts and I have to reset them because I am a deep person, too much for my own good, and I know that about myself. Even when I was young, I am. I'm very trusting of most people because my perspective was, well, I know I can be trusted. And I always put my foot forward with people saying, well, I want to show to you that I can be trusted. And I will put myself out there. I put my neck on the chopping block for quite a few people, even in the scene, to build trust. And then I get fucking cut. I get scarred. I get burned. I get my face drug and, smothered in the mud. And I gotta learn from it. And I get ridiculed. You get, there's times where it's like questions like, damn, am I that really fucking lost? Am I hopeless like I'm writing about? Or is it the perception I'm making and it's a nightmare reality that's not to be perceived? So is this the chaos that I'm going to have to keep exiling myself in? Or am I going to fix this MFer and take control of it again, reorganize and reinstitute myself based from the basics of what I learned? Never lose sight of what you do. Never have your pride and your ego get in the way of your spirit's achievement and your work. That should be that.
Mic drop. Bam. That's fantastic. That's fucking wisdom, true wisdom, and some of us are lucky to gain that wisdom at a young age. I don't know if it's luck. Some fucked up shit must have happened to gain that kind of wisdom early, right?
I think it just happened. Born into a time, I think.
Yeah, or we're lucky that we're here listening to you. You see what I'm saying? So, like, wisdom...
Man, I'm glad.
Exactly.
I'm not the know-it-all guy. I'm not.
No.
People,
right.
I've had that said about me. I've had that said about me in the beginning. Oh, he thinks he's this, he's that. I've actually had people... There's been people that have written me in my early Bloodstone years asking me to do, if I would do occult work for them. I'm like, listen, I appreciate that you think that highly of me. That's a nice compliment for somebody to trust me with their soul. Right. To do that, I'm like, I'm not that guy, man. But thank you for thinking me that I can. I'm only good for myself and my situation.
Right.
I'm nobody's scholar, and I'm nobody's savior. But I will talk and tell how I did things. Yes, it worked for me. Yes, I got my ass kicked along the way. Yes, and I still have hurt, but I still have success. It just depends on how I'm going to grade it. Am I going to judge it or am I going to roll with this thing? I have to turn it into something. That's what I call survival, spiritual survival. It's your passion to go with the fear and the love and maybe even the anger that you get out of being deceit and dishonest in your life. You have to turn that into something. You have to create it. So if I could be mythical, if I could be anything in this pop culture world, I'd rather be a Sith Lord.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. I would be good as a Sith. I'd be good as a Sith, but I wouldn't be good as a Jedi. No.
Check this out real quick because I'm going to nerd out on this. Look. I want to read this real quick.
That's just the pop culture side. Have a little fun with it, folks. That's all. Fun.
Oh, hold on. We're gonna. This is relevant to me because it's pop culture, but fuck yeah, this is like so impactful for me. All right, so let me get the quote real quick. I have it right here. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. And then it says, the force shall set me free. So, yeah. The force, if you want, scratch that line out and replace it for the music, the inspiration, the blah, 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 right? Like, let me just say it for the sake of... Let me just put it out there into the world. Let me just say it out loud, right? Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The music shall free me. Whatever. You see what I'm saying? So, I have this huge thing, this huge thing about the Sith code and the left-hand path and all this stuff, dude. Like, that's another episode, you know. Order 66.
There's all through pop culture. Some of the most successful books and movies do have, I believe, an occult underlying in it. There is an occult wisdom, and I think a lot of it is even Buddhist to a point. You know, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a lot of that stuff is really, I think it's profound. It's in the face of a lot of people, but most people won't catch it. But it's okay if they don't catch it, because it does make the movie interesting in itself for its own sake. There's still something that gives you a thought. A book, a piece of artwork and music, that is meant to be, because we're human beings and we connect with our physical world. This is what we're in. We do connect with the physical world. We do play by certain rules, but you don't have to always live by those rules. There's always a way to come out of that vessel into something else that nobody else needs to be but you. It's your own bank. Your spirit, you know, your vessel. That's it. That you can have it all. As long as you, I think being aware of your passion to go along with your intellect. You have to use your needs to the best of your ability, but don't try to eat it too much, because that's the thing that consumes you, and I think will wind up fucking you up. You know, in a sense, I think. But that's my own take.
Which is also a Sith thing.
What you've got. Yeah, you have to use your passion to your ability, and your ability is going to be the thing that's going to make you separate from being combined to just a physical realm, just the physical laws of nature.
Okay, so that's impactful. So let's end on the last chunk of this show, this episode is, now that I have presented you with my perspective, I want to hear something from you to us, right? And I'm sorry if I'm influencing or throwing in what I want to hear, but I know you're working on a new album, and I speak for a fuckload of people that we're stoked beyond shit to hear. I mean, we've been hearing it, and we're fucking totally stoked that you've been sharing the progress of the album, and for all of you out there, you can visit his YouTube channel. Is a Bloodstorm official web cult. Let me put it down here just so we can see it. Bada Bing Show. Bam. Bloodstorm official web cult. All right, guys, you can go to there. You can see all of his recordings, from rehearsals to new songs and old songs. All kinds of cool stuff's on there. Some live clips, spanning fucking 30 plus years, you know. And it's super fucking cool to see. I hope you guys have the opportunity to enlighten yourselves and at very least fucking entertain yourself, motherfuckers. Entertain yourselves, okay? So that being said. Yes, please. Share it, man. Share it and spread the spell. Okay. That being said, I would like for you to choose a song, and I'll post up the lyrics, and we can break down the meaning and the intent behind this new song, hopefully. You know, and just to kind of, I know it's kind of, I'm putting you on the spot, right? But
okay.
You know, we have the infamous Ophidians. There's the Nox Marma Damnation. Yeah, there was the
Werdathian, the seat of order.
The core necromancy.
Yeah. You know what? Where my head's at in the game, because this sums up the current that I'm really writing about, in the physical form of the beings that really are the most influential. It's the Silver Line of Magic. It deals with Ceres. It deals with the amphibians. It deals with the going back to the roots of the first colonizations of the solar system in the chaotic days of early life. I want to put this one out. Yeah, how about the infamous Ophidians? Just because I like the way it rocks out. My head's in that realm right now. Infamous Ophidians.
All right, let's get into that one.
New song. Fucking pay attention.
All right, so talk to us, man. Give us the breakdown on these lyrics.
Okay. Well, let's see. Is it all this? Well, basically, I'll just read them.
Sure.
Blood from the ancient wraiths, called into mantra, royal language of fire, olden carrion of blighted flames. What I'm basically talking about is the Great Crimson Desert of Set in the Typhonian trilogy. A lot of stuff worked from Kenneth Grant. Majority of this album, well, not the majority, the real majority of the album is dealing with the silver magic, and it deals a lot with Sirius and the reptilians, because part of going from Cursonus into the Cinder Witch into this album is, since I had to drop so much of what I did, like I explained earlier about Cursonus and the Cinder Witch, and going on hopelessness and feeling the loneliness by dropping what you know and have to reinvent yourself, with uncertainty, being careful where you tread again because you're starting over. I simply went back into the most primordial stages of what I went into in magic in the first place, and that is the influence of the reptilians over society, because I do believe firmly reptilian civilization in different forms, because I think there's different species of reptilian form throughout the universe that are on a higher plane of benevolence and on a lower primordial warlike plane, and a lot of their current and influence definitely dictates what happens in the physical realm, especially on Earth, is what I believe. So the Ophidian nature, the Ophidian current, I find deals with mostly in the silver magic, and it deals a lot with the Typhonian gates, the Typhonian trilogies, and the silver magic, which is based on Sirius, the star system of Sirius. So a lot of what I do incorporate my planetary magic of Uranus, Saturn mix with some of my sun and moon phases and other planets, which are certain numerical and mantra sigils I made that are locked in mantra memory to help navigate in the dark on the silver magic lining, to ride the current through that phase, which deals mostly with my birth date, my specific birth date, my magical birth name. So I'm going on the silver current based out of Typhonian trilogy that has mostly to do with the primordial stages of your spiritual development, which is the Ophidian, the reptilians. So being an infamous Ophidian, I believe is the ultimate constant nature of physical influence on Earth. First and foremost, in its most primordial stages of magic, to me, it's always been the reptilian and the Ophidian's force of nature. And I think most of it's predominant. It's just in its biblical form. The serpent, everything's a serpent. The devil's a serpent. The most primal things and needs that basic humanity uses in society, being the reptile, being so evil and so wrong and so negative,
cold-hearted, and, cold-blooded,
cruel, chaotic, destructive nature, rebellious nature against the greater good, etc. I think, well, if I have been shunned by the very institution that I was indoctrinated in, then I belong to start first and foremost on that foot plane. So I'm going to reinvent myself through their current, not necessarily following their rules, but their rules against their law and nature to be just as infamous as they were. Since the Ophidians were infamous in their nature, I too will be, rebellious and infamous in my nature, but using basic guidelines of their working to navigate in the world that they help shape out of their chaotic primal instinct and out of their chaos. And I like that current and that energy, which to me, if I'm going to go pop culture, it's a lot more like Conan and Mad Max, which are two things that I absolutely love visually. It's the idea. So Infamous Ophidians is the great rapping nature of this album, where all the rebellious primordial spirit and instinct on its most treacherous levels are indoctrinated in the physical realm, which I reinstitute into song again, using all of its necromantic influence to its benevolent chaos that it has, which I do instrumentally. That's why when I did Unknown Without End as an instrumentalist, well, there's no lyrical content with that because it's pure white noise chaos. And in that, it's a constant vortex of a vessel that has no placement. So where I have lyrics for something like that. So therefore I made it an instrumental. And in this one, the infamous Ophidians, is the most primal rapping nature of the emotional content of where I'm going with lyrically, how I feel rebellious coming out of hopelessness and loneliness. I'm back onto their current again, using their primordial nature and instincts, just using raw power and high energy. Okay, but putting it in song form, I think, reflects my musical nature as being into, foremost weren't introduced into rock music, being into heavy metal. The stages of going from the Who and early AC/DC and Russian Led Zeppelin and Van Halen right into like Motorhead, Judas Priest, and Venom and Iron Maiden, and to that nature. And so I think the musical collaboration makes the most sense. Therefore, that's why I picked this one. And what am I going to say with here?
What are some of the lines that stand out to you? Yeah.
It's what. Well, this line I always thought was good to me is this phrase: "Lawless, guideless Ophidian cycles in between chaos and adoration. Out of the tangible crimson sands, malignant souls bond in elemental atonement. And the fire, water, wind, and earth, serpent, lunatic manifestation out of all of it. We can witness their cruel rise outside the circles of time. The sigils aligned in gruesome accusation, morally drowned in Ophidian venoms, disembodiment spirits of humankind, reaped in disgust and torment. The elder Ophidians, the Satyrian reptiles, Werdathian serpents, unpure, stillborn, and noxious scales."
Oh, I remember that part. Yeah. Wow. Fucking A, man. Well, I mean, that's again, it's interesting to understand the intent, the meaning, all the attitude behind these songs or anybody's music, because it could offer a clarification, maybe a demystification. Hey, audience, you may be even more intrigued now that you know more about it. Or you might even be kind of bummed out and be like, nah, man, I thought it was something else. I'm not into what he's saying. Hey, there are so many walks in life. There's so many different messages, and beyond the messages, there's intent behind all these creations. And I think it's fascinating. To in dissecting some of these messages, these songs, these creations. It's a window, it's a view into humanity, because you're not alone in this, and it's not like you're trying to develop like, hey, a following, y'all look what I do and do what I do, and it's not about that, right? It's just that the things that inspire your path exist in existence. They're in existence, and we're all encountering those same things, and some of us are lost in how to handle that stuff. And it's kind of inspirational to hear like, hey, you know what, this guy, kind of for a summation, he came from the big city that was not exactly fucking soccer mom, wonderful town, a little town. It's a fucking hard knocks town, city, metropolitan almost, or you could say. And that's going to influence the survival instinct, the attitude you have in this world with the people around you, right? And then you took that and you asserted it into this kind of frequency, and you found this vehicle to help get you to travel through this world. In this case, it was this occult sciences, and you took real world living and you found a way to cope with it through these things. And these songs are just they're just explanations and explorations,
Exactly. It's my interpretation of what I perceived and what I experienced, and I'm always open. I learned this from Celtic Frost, and I don't mean to cut you in, but I always learned this from Celtic Frost and Voivod and everything, and bands like that, and even Nasty Savage. It's wonderful to always get somebody else's interpretation on what I write, and I am open to it. I invite it, because that is part of the magic of lyrics. Interpretation in music is a beautiful thing. I interpreted things, I learned to interpret things from the Who's Quadrophenia into my everyday life when I heard that album. And it was the most relatable street level album when I was a little kid. And it really set the platform for conceptual music and feeling. And jam albums like Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 were such great jam albums. It always left that core street level feeling of what you're feeling and thinking in that day. I'm just taking it into my level of experience, and I'm fascinated with the occult, and I'm a spiritual person, and I take it to those elements. Take this music and lyrics any way you wish. I think it's great. If you can find another interpretation out of what I write than what I do, I welcome it. I really do. I think it's wonderful, because to me it says you got something out of what I did, and you can never be wrong for what your mind thinks and feels. I don't believe in condemning anyone for how your mind and spirit operate and it thinks and feels. That is the beautiful art of the occult and of music, of movies, of art. It's free to interpretation. It's supposed to be your free will interpretation. I'm just a guy expressing what I think and feel in my way and in this manner. Enjoy it for what it is, and thank you for taking any time to enjoy anything I do. That's what it's meant to do. That's magic of it.
Excellent, man. And with that, that'll be the fucking mic drop. Boom. Those are words of wisdom, things to take with you, people. Listen to what he's saying, not because, he is the way. He is a voice of life and of wisdom, and everybody has a bit of wisdom in their journey. So, hey, man, thank you. Thank you for telling your story. Yeah, thank you for telling your story. Thank you for sharing us some of the reasoning behind the chaos, where are you coming from, what moves the pen, right? So with that being said, guys, thank you very much. We're gonna have a bunch of these coming up, and hopefully we can come back and maybe pick on another couple songs. We'll figure out. I mean, I can't bring you back to ask you the same questions. We'll have to have like a return batch of questions. It'd be badass, dude. And congratulations on your progression in life. I know it's adaptation and change is always fucking crazy, but hey, man, you're able to do it, and we're happy for you, and we support you, and we fucking love your music, dude. So keep it up, man. And then that's about it, man. All right, guys. Until next time, motherfuckers. See you in hell.
Bon Jay.
Yo. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. I think I got this. A ver. Hold on. Yeah, we're back. Does it look out of focus, or is it just me? Hold on. I think it's the what do you call it? Shucks. This thing. Why is it all blurry? Why is it all blurry? Jeez Louise. All right. Well, hold on. I'm gonna fix this. No, hombre. Now we're in a green room. I got it. Watch this. I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second. Camera. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, folks. Yay. What'd y'all think? Huh? What'd y'all think, man? That was pretty, I was pretty stoked. Let's put some background music. Yeah, a little bit of background music. Anyways. So, Chris, I know you're here. Thank you for doing that. You can see where I'm trying to go with this, right? I'm trying to it's not red enough. Anyways, I'm trying to get a little more of the other side of the coin. I guess like spreading that in the music, because with the way the frequency and the sheer amount of volume of music we have available these days, right? It's hard to truly understand like everything you hear that deep. You can't assimilate everything because there's too much. There's too much. There are a lot of bands and there's a lot of music is easily available to us. So it feels nice to expand my. It's funny when I was young, music was much easier to assimilate. I'd actually sit and read lyrics. I can date more or less when I got into a song because if I know the lyrics, that meant I was young enough. So it would have been through these years of my life. There's a certain point in my life where lyrics just stop becoming that important for me to memorize. Anyways, so it's good to reconnect with something that's out, you know, and if it's not something you're already connected with, it's neat to learn about a new album or a new band. Hey man, they're not all gonna be dark and occult, you know. Everybody's into different shit, man. You know, some people are really into movies, some people are really into books. I mean, some people are really into fucking comic books. I mean, shit, dude. There's people into, again, like politics, and there's people who are into like more of the human condition, you know, and or really specific fucking fictional shit, you know. Fucking emperors into like what the hell do they call that? Blashrick. You know. Ophthalmia, that was like another like created world. You know? Look what I got, dude. Isn't that cool? There, it's kind of pointing weird. That thing, it rips. I wear the shirt often, so I walk in wearing the shirt. I'm looking at it. I'm like, hey. Yeah, man, they're not all going to be the same. So what I want to do real quick is play a couple jams for you guys. All right. I'd say another half hour, an hour or so max. It's the weekend. I got a lot. Tomorrow's going to suck, dude. I got a lot of chores and work. OT. I got to get that OT tomorrow. Overtime. For those of you who know. But it is what it is. So let's I want to jam because we're, you know, featuring Bloodstorm. I want to play another Bloodstorm or a couple of Bloodstorm tracks. But off of like a totally other different album. I think between Noelia's and mine collection of, she's got the majority of them. I have a couple of them. I think we have everything that a Bloodstorm's released. But I don't have them all in my phone. I get the physicals and I load them in my computer, and then from my computer I put them in my phone. Apparently I've got a memory issue that I got to erase some files in order to do some kind of synchronizing. I don't know, whatever. I'll figure it out. But I got way more music I need to add on here, so I only have a couple in my phone. The rest are in that box. So let's jam a couple from the other album I have on my phone, The Stellar Exorcism. And shit, I could grab the CD. Let me grab. I don't know. That one's in Noelia's collection. I don't have it here. It's in the other room. I don't want to go grab it. The ones I have here are not this album. Anyways, but so let's play a couple tracks off of that, and then play some other stuff, right? Then we'll move on to some other Jimmy jams, and call it an eve. All right, so we'll just press play on track one. I like picking on track one. It's like I said, dude, there's a reason why a band chooses their first song. Right? You're not just going to randomly like not care what the first thing it is that they hear when you press play. You care. You're going to fucking push play, and you hope that if that's the only thing the person gets to hear, that they hear one of the coolest things on the album. You hope that can happen. The most captivating start. So it's interesting to pick on the first track of every album, and then from there, you know, bounce around. So let's play. The first song's called The Howling Void. Here we go. There we go. Don't forget about this. What the fuck? Da-da-da. Yeah. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, the first two songs right there, man. Pretty Mama Alone. Pretty heavy. Yeah, that's the thing about Bloodstorm is that it's not the same album all over, or most bands that are, I guess, that run as long as they do, 20, 30-year bands, let's say, you're going to have eras. You're going to have era 1, era 2, sometimes 3 or 4 eras. My favorite band, Bada Boom. Voivod, they got several eras. Now, unlike most bands that are still around forever, they're probably better now than they've been in some points in the past, where a lot of bands that stick around, they end up sucking and getting more lame and burnt out as time passes, Not the case for Bloodstorm either. Bloodstorm's been doing this for a long time, and dude, hey, how many of you guys have already ordered the new album? I did. I pre-ordered it. When it's gonna get here, I don't know. I'll find out. I know there's a link and let me get some information here. I know there's a link and it'll help me track my my package and all that jazz. But I don't know if I want to look at that right now. I should have. I'm not worried. It'll get here when it gets here. I have a receipt, man. But anyways, yeah, man. I'm super stoked for the new album. I already ordered it, and I hope you all have as well. All right. I'm not just saying that because, I feel like we're friends of sorts. I'm saying that because it's fucking really good. The problem with too much music is we'll lose. How do you say this? We'll lose. It just becomes like there's not enough variety. It's kind of weird. The more I think about it, there's too much monotony. But if every single band was completely unique from each other, shit, that would be a different problem. That many bands and all of them are super different. That's got to be something else. Something else that's weird. Another problem. Yeah, I guess there's no perfect way to have it, man. We just gotta enjoy the scene the way it presents itself to us while we're here, man. Get the most out of it, man. To me, this is one way I get more out of my music. I get into it. Get into your fucking music. Get into it, man. Don't just cool. You don't hear a lot of music. Try to listen to music. Try to listen to it. Don't just hear it, because it feels good to have stimulated, like you hear something, it makes your skin fucking stand. Like, oh shit, you get goosebumps and, you get all peppered, yeah, or you get all fucking rowdy and you feel like breaking your TV, or you get all fucking romantico and you feel like making babies and shit. Whatever the music does to you, Music does that to you if you connect with it. Otherwise, it's just a sound in the room. What's the value in just the sound, right? The world is noise. It's good to connect with some of it. Have an experience. Damn it, have a damn experience. Speaking of experiences, segues. Let's experience the excitement together as I bring back to this. Hey, man, I'm gonna be there. I hope you and you and you and you and you and you. I hope all you motherfuckers. Yes, you. Come out to the show. OG Man Road, Houston, Texas. I had a fucking book like this. And I didn't put any I don't think, did I put upside down crosses? I don't know if I did upside down crosses. Maybe I did. I know I drew a lot of Mayhem logos. Tried to. There was some upside down crosses there. I don't know. What did y'all think of that interview, man? I hope you got inspired. I hope you got fucking stoked about that. I really hope these next people that I hit up say, yeah, man, let's chat. Because everybody's got a perspective in this world. But, you know, this is a show. I want to try to get people who, like, whoa, like, they spike your interest, you know? And like for me too. That's why I asked Chris. Not just because he's a friend, but dude, like that guy's super fucking interesting, and his music is influential, and yeah, man, that was a fucking treat for me. So hell yeah. I'm just lucky I know the guy. I'm just lucky on that part. Well, that rules. Let's do a couple more songs. Okay, let's do this. I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 666. The first person. Wait. When I give the signal, then you pick a number between 1 and 666. And whoever wins, you have to give me a letter in the alphabet. Ready? And go. Boom. Winner. 666. Yeah, I was hoping you'd pick up on it. Give me a letter. Hellish Conquest. Oh, wait. That's going too fast. Point. There you go. First one. Kaboom. Give me a number. A number. Give me a letter in the alphabet. Oh, you already won, dude. You got it. No, come on. 1 in 666. That was pretty fucking obvious. Like 666. Perfect. Give me a letter in the alphabet so I can pick a band. The letter B. Okay. Let's pick a band in the letter B's. Let's pick a band from the letter. Oh. Okay. This may be cliche, but I don't like that album. No, I was gonna pick this band, but it's like, yeah, they're popular. We've heard it 100 times, but let's see. Hold on. I want to play Black Sabbath, but you know that shit's gonna get us booted. We can't play Black Sabbath. I was gonna play Burzum, but I don't know if people are gonna cry about it. I can always play the best, you know, Uncle Corton. He never disappoints. But maybe, there's Beherit. I just saw them recently. That's pretty cool. Bird Flesh, if you're into grind. Beast of Warlust, I don't have that. I've got the black. We jam out the black here in the channel every now and then. Francisco pulls it out. Oh, okay. You know what? There's some Blaspherian. When's the last time we jammed out Blaspherian? Fraser knows Blaspherian. He's got that on CD. Brain Dead. Have y'all heard of that? Brutality. Remember Brutality from Florida back in the day? Brujeria. You know, I got plenty of that. Blood Ceremony, if we're into some Doom. I mean, the Borknagarg, I don't have everything in my collection in this phone. I gotta put the first album. You know what? Watch out. Let's put something more obscure. Belinda Carlisle. We're gonna listen to some Bo Jackson raps the hits. Bo Jackson's Christmas carols, and like it's those commercials where all the song titles are like scrolling up as they sing the song, and see the song title pop up. No. Okay, yeah. Let's jam out to okay. I got one. Let's go with some black metal. Let me see. Is it this one? Hold on. Wait. This might be that really boring band. It's good. There you go. Some Behex and Ritual Satanum. Hexen. Oi? Black Label, Telecico. Hell yeah. It's glitching like crazy? Is my voice glitching? That's weird. It shouldn't be. Is it working now? What the hell's going on? Okay. All right. I don't know. Does my voice sound weird? Does it sound all jacked up or something? Reboot, buddy. My voice sounds messed up too. Hold on. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. Check, check, check. How about that? How about that? Is that better? Is that better? See? Hello, hello. Check, check, check. All right. It's supposed to be freaking technology. Hey, man, I'm not an IT guy. All right? Unplug everything. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oof. So then what do I do? How to fix. Yeah, Francisco just tell me how to fix it. Because he knows he this is his Cadillac. I borrowed the keys to the Cadillac. I'm driving somebody else's car. Damn it. All right. Okay, what the hell, man? What the hell, man? Are we good? We good? I got faith in the metal gods. I do too. However many there are. Are we good, man? We good? See? All right. Dun, 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 sounds good. Well, son of a biscuit. All right. Let me try this again. Well, I want to hear this song, damn it. Then we'll try a different one. Shut up, Fraser. Maybe it's the recording. Maybe it's just sounds weird. Or I wonder if it's this apparatus, like, how about this one? How are we sounding? Well, Abruptum is how we're going to end the show. I just wanted to play a couple tracks till we get to the 10:30 mark. It's kept failing. No, there's no link, dude. I'm all plugging in direct. The mixer, clearly. There must be a problem on the stream. Maybe my computer sucks. Well, son of a bitch. Well, I'll tell you what. We're just going to end it then. I'm just going to jam out to my own shit then. Yeah, we're at the 2 hour mark. Anyways, it's all good, man. We're at the 2 hour mark, so I'm just going to go ahead and kill it. Oh, mira?
Hey, so when this happens, it's happened to me.
Hey, I hear you.
No, I know. It's happened to me before several times, but it starts getting choppy. The only thing that I've ever figured out that'll fix it is if you completely I have to completely
got off the internet, but then it's still...
No, I mean, like, completely restart, yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah, you have to restart it, and so I can try to hold it down.
Throw some jams.
Just try to...
I'm going to be back.
What do you say? You can try to restart it and then come back on, and I can see if... Well, hold on. Let me play something on my end and see if it's choppity chop chop chop. Let me find something.
No, you're roboting as well?
Oh, really?
Well, that's what Travis... But I don't believe anything Travis says. I don't trust him.
All right, so if I'm choppy, then yeah, it's the... Yeah, you'll have to, since you're the one that started, you'll have to restart. Just,
I got out and I turned it off. Or kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, like I said, I'll have to restart my computer, and that's the only thing that ever fixes it when it gets like this.
Okay.
So, yeah. That's why I wanted to jump on, see if it was just me, or if it was just on your end, but it's not. It's StreamYard or YouTube that does that, but it's probably StreamYard.
Okay, so I'm gonna bounce out and bounce back in and see if it works one last time.
Yeah, do that. I'll stick around and see if it improves on my end.
All right, I'll be back.
All right. Whoa! Here. All right. Am I still? chopping, chopping, chopping. Am I chopping? If not, then I'll keep going. If so, then I'm chopped. I'm chopped. All right. Well, that fucking sucks. Yeah. So it's probably StreamYard. It does this sometimes, as those of you that watched me before. I don't know why I'm talking. Of all you all right, hold on. Let me see. Tell me if this is chopping. Where'd it go?
And now, the Stereo Warehouse on the Gulf Freeway presents the Audio Video Prince! Yes, the Audio Video Prince, making great deals at the Stereo Warehouse, like this. A telephone answering machine. Just $49. Here's another Prince of 99. And here's the real royal deal.
I sincerely want to make this deal to you. Car stereos just.
The Stereo Warehouse, Gulf Freeway in Edgebrook. Any other deal is...
All right, yeah, it's StreamYard. There you go. Was that long enough? Was that long enough? Play a river dance. Why am I all close up to the fucking camera here, too? Yo! All right, how about I just put this on here for you guys to look at. Check this out. Where'd it go? Play Abigail. All right, hold on. I can do that. It's gonna sound like shit, but when does it though? Hey.
Abigail, I know you're in control of the brain. Abigail.
I can look. Did that skip? I'm sure it's choppy. I can loop this over and over.
Abigail, I know you're in control of the brain. Abigail. Abigail, I know you're in control of the brain. Abigail, I know you're in control of the brain. Abigail. Control of the brain. Abigail.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep you guys entertained while JD restarts. Here's some photos. A good thing about photos is they don't fucking skip. All right, so let's go through the photos here. All right, there's one. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I remember. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. Quite proud of that one. Look at this one. Oh, look at this guy. All right, what else I got here? There you go. I need to do another one of these shows soon. Bro, please. Not bad. Andy Jones made this for me. I use that all the time. Hey, no shit. Last week I got caught up in watching Soul Train Dance Line on YouTube. I think I must have watched at least 10 episodes. Total Nazi movie right there, right? You guys ever, when you were a kid, I don't know if you realized that The Sound of Music was basically a Nazi movie. Hey, somebody asked me if I would like for JD to do another one of these shows? Somebody just asked me that in the chat. Hey, would you like JD to do another one of these shows? Go ahead. Anybody, ask me. Oh, there he is. Let's see. Oops.
Is it working now?
There you are. All right. I don't know. Let me get out of here, and then you will see.
Okay. All right. Well, damn it. This is the last attempt. This is the final stretch. I'm deleting your podcast now. Oh, something else. Is it working? Is it a little better? So I want to end with some jams, damn it. The way I see it, we got 30 minutes till the 11th hour. Why not play a couple jams from the Negative Audio archive and jam out so Frazier. All right, here I'm gonna play another song, another batch of songs. Tell me if it's still skipping. All right. I'm not going by streaming, so it's hard to do requests. I can't. I'm not just gonna like type something up and play it off YouTube. Like I'm going off of my physical collection. I got CDs like around my room, and I put the CDs in my phone, so I don't have everything. But you can ask, and I can check if I have it. I'll play it. But I'm gonna play some songs from Morphville Records, Andrew's stuff. Do you sound like Crappy Buddy? I don't know, dude. Do you choppy again, buddy? Frazier, I wish I knew what you're trying to say or ask. Tell me if these tracks don't sound all messed up.
Spend their allowances on Marshall amplifiers and then sing about death, Satan, violent sex, and the end of the world.
Before you leave today, your head's going to be on that platter.
Well, shit then. That glitchy? Maybe enough to cause that to happen? Is that glitchy? Huh? How glitchy? No, I didn't put that picture there. This is not my car. I'm driving somebody else's car right now. Well, shit, everybody. The show's over then. We had a fun ride. Powers of Chaos are perfect. It's good. 2.5 hours, man. That's good. So y'all enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your evening. And be looking out for episode number 2. We'll get somebody else on and ask them a couple questions. Pick on 2 songs. It's going to be the same format. It's going to be the same format all the way through. That's the intent. So anyways, that being said, thank you all for hanging around. Let's go ahead and stick a fork in it, as they say. Not mean, but ceremoniously, we need to bring in our closer of the night, or bring in the closer of the night, would you?
You've been watching Jim and Adult Badass. Take care, everybody. You've been watching Jim and Adult Badass.
Later, man. Y'all be careful.
You've been watching Jim and Adult Badass. Take care, everybody.